I don't want to sit next to him.
106.9 WZAA-LP, Jeffersonville.
We are back here live at Damon's on WZAA 106.9 Campus Nation. Tonight we have head coach Brian Moore of Wilmington College Quakers. Joining him will be defensive superstar Ryan Prince and graphics designer Hayden Thomas. Also joining us tonight will be head coach Scott Killen, the Wilmington Hurricane football team. Joining him will be athletes Connor Barton and Derek Davis. Right. Wilmington College is coming off their first home loss against the Marietta Pioneers, 43-33. Coach, it was a tough-fought battle. The crowd was in it the whole entire game. Where in that same heck did you pull off some of the plays you ran?
Oh, hey, I just call them. The players got to make the plays. You know, there was a couple there that worked out in our favor, and I look good when they work out. There's a couple that didn't work out so well, and I got to take the heat for that. Actually, I pass them off to Coach Thomas here. He calls all the bad plays. I just call the ones that work, so that's how we handle that one.
That's awesome. So talk a little bit about Luke Credit here. I just want to go back. He came on last week. He's third in OAC, tied for third, and touchdown passes. He had a heck of a game. Let's talk a little bit about Luke first.
Yeah, he continues to basically week after week be very, very consistent in his approach to what we can count on in our offense. And he's ranked nationally in quarterback efficiency. Obviously, in playing in one of the better conferences in the country, to be where he's at with some of the best quarterbacks in the country in our conference, especially touchdown-wise. And not only that, but where he's at interception-wise from where he was a year ago at this time as well. He's made a complete 180, and I think a lot of that is just getting comfortable in the system, feeling free within the offense to make some decisions that he probably hadn't had to make in the past.
Going back to the touchdown, going into halftime, you guys are down 2 scores. You guys come out with a big play call. I mean, we're up in the box saying, hey, they're going to call this, and he called this, and he called this. Perfect touchdown there, and brings you down by a score. Let's walk us through that play.
Well, it was huge. I mean, we were playing, Marietta the year before at halftime. The score was 60-0. And so it was 21-7 going in. We got the ball kind of backed up a little bit. We wanted to make sure we didn't give the ball back to them with a chance to score again. So we wanted to be pretty smart with our time. We hit a couple of plays and got it to where we had, basically one shot. We took a timeout to discuss what we wanted to do. If we wanted to hit something quick, try to get a field goal. And, sitting in that timeout, Coach Thomas, mentioned a play that we had practiced all week if we needed one. At that point, it was our best option. I didn't think twice about it. We called it. My confidence in that thing scoring a touchdown certainly wasn't the highest at that time, especially when they came out in the prevent defense. It had to be a perfect throw. It had to be a tough catch for a tailback 40 yards down the field. The stars aligned for us on that play, and it was huge to go in one score down, 21-14 or 21-13 after a year prior to being 60-0 was a traumatic turnaround.
Now, coming into this season, you guys have faced some, you have to put coaches where they are. Of course, Coach Hayden Thomas, you have him this year. How'd you pull him in here this year?
Yeah, he's a great story. He played for me at Bluffton University. He was there before I got there and our coaching staff got there. He's one of the first guys, the easiest guys to buy in. He comes from a great coaching family. His uncle's Brady Hoke, and so he has that in him. And as a player for us, he was able to transfer over to play for me on the offensive line after being a 3-year starter on the defensive line at Bluffton. So his senior year, he starts all 10 games for me. We break every offensive record at Bluffton in his first year really playing that position in college. So when we had a position open up that could help us out, it didn't take long to hire him. He's a great recruiter. He does all of our graphic design, handles all of our social media accounts, and puts some great products out there. So, basically I'm stealing from him right now because he's worth way more than what we're paying him.
So the team up north, can I go to Hayden here? The team up north, your uncle was actually head coach there.
Yeah, yep.
Okay, so talk us about, when Coach Brian Moore goes up and he talks to you about it. What'd you think about it when he comes in and says, hey, man, do you want to be a part of this football team?
It was a no-brainer for me, honestly. had 2 years when he first got there. I had 2 years on defense when he was the offense coordinator, and you kind of stand back from far and see what he's doing with the offense. You're like, man, you're kind of jealous of what's going on over there, all the good stuff that's happening. And then I got a chance to be a part of it, and bought into pretty much everything he believes in, everything he teaches, and being able to work for him was a no-brainer.
Now, your job, as a graphic designer, and I kind of noticed, and Coach said you do all the graphic designs, you do everything. And the thing is, I appreciate things you've done for WZA 106.9.
Yeah, no doubt.
Bringing your graphics to us. And Coach Moore can depend on you not only on the football field, but graphic designs, the things you've done. You take your job serious about it. How important was it, coming in? What'd you feel like, Coach saying, hey, man, we want you to use your education, do this. We want graphic designs. Use it. You can be used in so many ways. How important is that for you?
Yeah, well, my senior year of college, my junior, senior year, when the graphic stuff was all coming out, that's when the graphic design started blowing up on Twitter, social media, all that stuff. And I pretty much self-taught myself on YouTube on how to do it, because I knew I wanted to coach and kind of wanted to find a way to make myself different than everyone else and have something else to me that would be valuable. So that's kind of what I came up with, and I've pretty much just been working at it,
Well, Coach, getting back to you, you guys seem like you found some more weapons again this week. It seems like you're spreading the ball around further and further. Another credit gotten in the headlines, got some catches, former quarterback at Wilmington High School.
Yeah, and that's always great to see local guys, coming, right down the street here and doing well on our field. It certainly helps that his brother's a quarterback too. So obviously there's a chemistry there.
Little backyard football.
Yeah, the circa of the Turkey Bowl 2016. They do a great job. I mean, it's somebody he can trust, no doubt about it. And that's, having a quarterback-receiver relationship, that's half the battle, is knowing where the guy's going to be, how he runs his routes, and all that kind of stuff. But it was great to see him get an opportunity because of an injury to step in and then prove that he belonged there in the first place. So that was great. And Amir Jackson came along. He's kind of been injured all year, so he's been in, he's been out, he's been out, he's been in. But kind of dragging his leg along around out there, but still to put up, the best offensive number, I think 9 for 150 some, with a bad wheel. Some guys are just sucking it up, and when their opportunity comes, they're making plays.
Surely showing fight. They play to the very end, that's for sure.
Yeah, and that's kind of been our thing all year. Is right now it's not the scoreboard. We're fighting against our own best performance. What are we capable of? And I think every week we kind of start the game not sure what we're capable of, and once we start getting in the middle of it, I think they start figuring out, hey, we're capable of more than what we're doing, and then you see them keep fighting and keep fighting and keep fighting, and we're certainly going to need that fight here the next 4 weeks.
Going to you, Ryan Prince, man, you're an animal, man. I watched you last week, and you played a heck of a game here. Sorry, on WZA. Played a heck of a game last week. This year, you have more tackles for a loss than you have in your total career. Walk us through what you've done this year and these coaches, how they made a big impact on your career and your final season.
Well, basically, I thank the coaches for this system. I mean, basically allowing us to make plays, being comfortable, and I gotta thank my teammates too. I mean, like being on the defensive line, like take out blocks, make plays. I mean, it's a whole unit thing. Basically, I can't take all of it. Basically, I gotta thank the linebackers, front the holes, other D line for taking out blocks too. Never mind numbers called, just make the play.
Now, when you come through and you have gap assignment, whatever gap you're coming through, A, B, C, D, whatever you're playing, you do your responsibility. When you break through the line of scrimmage and you get heels depth, bend your eyes to the football, what's the first thing you think?
It depends on the play and what block type. Like, do you have a guy pulling from the other side of the offensive line? Do you need a Walmart or fill the gap, or what's the QB doing real quick? Just gotta keep my eyes open, and once I know what's going on, full head of steam to make the play.
So in your off season this past year, and I've asked a few players here on WZA, here at Damon's on the sports show, I just wanted to make sure, I want to see what have you done in the weight room to be an impact for these younger kids, because of course Wilmington has 55 kids, freshmen coming in. I mean, how can you change this program along with the coaches? What's the impact you're going to leave with them?
Basically, doing what's right on and off the field, being a good role model. I mean, just doing the little things. I mean, it'll eventually all add up. I mean, right now it doesn't show on the scoreboard and win-loss column, but eventually we'll see the results. And being that senior class that helped start that, it's a good feeling.
Now, Coach, I had an opportunity to have dinner with you last night. We talked a little bit about you coming here, taking the job. Okay, walk us through, December when you call you got the job. I want you to walk through it.
Oh man, this is like a whole nother show. This is like a soap opera. How this thing started. I got hired. I got offered the job right before Christmas break. So like the 22nd of December, or whatever. So I came down on the 23rd, really just to, hey, where's my office? Can I get a T-shirt? Something. Went back home for Christmas break, and then December 26th I came. Had to have somebody let me in my office. I didn't have keys to get in anywhere. There's nothing in my office. There's a desk and a table, no computer, no phone, no nothing. I had to bring my own laptop in, sit down, and just started recruiting. A day later, Coach Filipovich showed up, and exactly the same thing. He just showed up, got security to let him in his empty office, and he had his laptop, and we just started recruiting, and that's all we were really able to do. Scrapped together some money and rented a house, and it was just me and the big fella. Seriously, we had one love seat. We had one love seat in the living room and like a 19-inch TV. So we'd kick our feet up. We'd sit side by side, shoulder to shoulder on this love seat, and we just texting recruits. And then we hired Coach Bernie. He came in later in January, and he came into the house. It was the frat house, man. It was just. And then Coach Thomas was living there for a little bit. We had 4 or 5 coaches living in there. Our start date wasn't until January 17th, so we had about 2.5 weeks where nobody's getting paychecks. So everybody was basically living off of me in the house that I rented.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it was just like college days, except like real life. It was
but that brings a unit. You know what I mean? When you're in a unit, and that brings unity. You guys are all together. You're a family. This is as one, and that's what we do. And if you're going to be successful, you got to be close knit to each and every person, in your household. None of your coaches, your players, and as you guys being close as you guys are, how's that help the Wilmington football program?
Well, I think it's everything. Number one, there was no way I was going to live in that house with 4 other coaches if I didn't know them. If there wasn't a personal, I wasn't going to live in there with strangers and all that kind of stuff. But it also shows you the type of coaches that we have on the staff, that they weren't going to get paid for 2.5 weeks, and they all left their other jobs and where they were without a paycheck in hand and getting down there and working. And we're all able to get along. We're all able to get through that crazy 2.5 weeks. So we finally got a paycheck, and then we kicked everybody out, and they got their own places now. But I think the players see that. I think you can preach family all you want. You can preach being together and all that all you want. But if your coaches don't associate with each other, if they have a bad relationship on the field, if the players don't feel that chemistry within the coaching staff, I don't think the players really enjoy being out there. They can see the cracks in your armor. Coach Philly and I sitting on the show, and Coach Thomas and I sitting on the show is the same as sitting in the living room. I mean, we act the same way there in our offices that we all do. It's some of the best people I know in my life, and I get to work with them every day.
Well, Coach, you were talking about recruiting when you first got here.
Yeah.
How does the recruiting process start for you? I mean, where do you guys start at? Is it internet or?
Yeah. Honestly, it's hard to tell where it starts and where it ends. It kind of runs full circle. Like right now in the season, we're trying to generate game visits. But to get those kids of who you're going to call in the spring, we go out. We go out to recruiting fairs. This year we took a trip. We took 5 cars. We spent one day in Northern Kentucky and Lexington, stayed in a hotel. Then the next day in Indianapolis with 5 cars hitting the city. And then the next day in Louisville to generate a recruiting base. Ohio does a great job with the Ohio High School Coaches Association of recruiting fairs. So you can go to a Columbus fair and get all the information from Columbus schools, Cincinnati, Dayton, all the areas. You get it back. One of our lower level coaches has to input data, all that information into our database. And then you divvy up your recruiting areas, and then you go. And then you go and you go and you go. So right now, that's kind of what we do on Thursdays and Fridays. We start contacting kids, talking about game visits, creating those contacts. Once the season's over, then we'll host visits basically every day of the week until they say yes or no.
Now, going back, Ryan Prince, we're talking to you about some of the things that, Coach Moore's brought to the table. What's some of the things differently in last year's defense that Coach Philly's brought to the table for Wilmington College?
I think what he brought to the table, like, we're all just having fun, right? We're all just flying around, loving hats. There's a lot more energy and excitement on the defensive side of the ball. Just going around smacking, hitting people, just making plays, basically.
That seems to be the consensus from all your teammates that came on here, is that your coaches coach you up through the week, and then game day comes, it just lets you go.
Oh, yeah.
You know your job, you go out and you play.
It's a very fun atmosphere. Whenever you're having fun, everything builds up, and it's just great.
What's your job? I mean, what do you feel your job is at Wilmington Quakers? I mean, what's your job here?
Job as in, like,
be the boss? You're the boss, aren't you? I know you're the boss. You're the boss.
I mean, just doing what's right on and off the field. I mean, on the field, show them how it's done, make plays. Off the field, show them, like, this is how you're at, this is what you need to do. Like, 'cause it's both aspects, because you're a student athlete. You got to do it on and off the field with professors, coaches, teammates. There's so much involved.
Now, what do you plan to do after school here at after school?
Once I graduate, I plan on being a high school teacher and plan on coaching football and baseball eventually.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So you're really taking up what Coach Moore and all your coaches in the past has really you're taking a lot to it.
It's a learning experience. Every part of the journey is a learning experience that you can always apply wherever you end up afterwards.
Going back to Hayden, Coach Thomas here. Of course, when Coach called you and things like that, and you're sitting there and you guys are all just gathered around, and I mean, what was you thinking when you moved in? Was you like, man, this is, we got to do work? Well, I mean, what's your thought process here?
Yeah, when Coach Moore brought me down, that's when I first met Coach Philly and Coach Byrne at the convention, and we got along ever since. Me and Coach Byrne get along real well. I hang out all the time, share an office. I live with him. And then Coach Philly's been a great mentor to me as well, as a young, like me being a young coach and learning how he does things, and it gives you a different aspect from Coach Moore, Coach Doyle at Bluffton, and how other guys have done it before. So
how you feel about Coach Philly, man? He's
that's my guy.
Dude. That's my guy.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think everybody talks to him. He's like, man, that's my dude.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. He's been awesome. Just like recruiting stuff, how to deal with players and stuff like that it's all been really good.
It sounds like you guys are really, you're showing yourself in the league. They're starting to get a reputation for becoming a winning program, more competitive program. That you're getting more respect from your opponents. And he told me the story about the running back from Marietta coming up to you after the game, and the words he had to say to you. So, I mean, congratulations on that. It's not only just not going noticed here, but throughout the league at this point.
Yeah, and again, like, even right now we've got a tough stretch here the next 3 weeks, but up to this point specifically, we have probably exceeded where I thought I could get us at this point. Certainly, I've been through this before as a coach at different places, but certainly our players have, especially our seniors, they've only had one coach up to this point. And now a new guy comes in, a new staff comes in, and have to deal with a lot of change. And for them to actually see the results of it so quick, because usually you don't see it right away. Usually it takes a couple of years, a couple of recruiting classes to see the fruits of your labor. But it's a testament to them of how quickly they bought in, how hard they've worked, to where it's almost a disservice now, because I don't think we're sneaking up on anybody anymore. That they are aware that it's a good brand of football. It's a team that's gonna it's gonna fight you tooth and nail, and it's gonna be there all 4 quarters. So just we're not getting any. But I think in the past, Wilmington has got teams' worst efforts at times on Saturday, and I don't think we can count on that anymore. We're gonna get everybody's best effort now.
Well, you mentioned you're coming up on probably the toughest part of your schedule.
Yes.
How is your approach for these games? I mean, where's your mental? How do you approach your players? In the past, obviously Mountain Union has a reputation for being a very strong program.
Yeah.
What do you say to them to get them ready for Saturday to go out and just battle with everything you got.
Yeah, I think if you're in our locker room, if you're in our team meetings for the first 6 weeks, I think you'll notice my approach this week has basically been exactly the same. I don't sit around in the Capital game and say, hey, we're going to beat Capital this week, and this is how we're going to do it. We talk about the process. It's always the process of the steps that you got to do in order to put yourself in that. We're not going to chase the scoreboard. It's about us. It's about our culture and how we play the game of football, and can we play our best possible game every week.
And winning those small battles, I believe, to grow as a team. I mean, we're here to grow as a team. And like you said, I mean, winning those small battles, even if it's just each play's played, one at a time.
Yeah.
It's between the lines, and it's one play at a time. How true is that to you?
It's very true. And I think what our team's got pretty good at, in the past, with the amount of losses that have built up here through not only our seniors' career, but the few years before that as well, there's such a cloud of negativity over a scoreboard. And right now that defines a football program. And I think a lot of players that have gone through that feels like that defines them as a person too. And what we've really harped on is we're going to celebrate all the successes, all the small successes, whether it's in the weight room, the classroom, whatever success it is. If we're doing things the right way, we want to celebrate it and show them that they are improving, that they are doing good things, and not just lump on, hey, we didn't win this week, or we didn't win that week, or whatever the case may be. It is, hey, we are doing good things, we are improving, let's celebrate those, let's highlight those, and then you build from there. But it's not just one huge step to get where you need to be. But if you don't appreciate all the little steps to get to that goal, then you're never going to get there.
Coach Thomas, going to you real quick. I want to know, of course, this year you guys have been very, very successful. You're approaching, like Chad said here, this is a tough part of your schedule. I mean, what's some of the things you've done this year, basically preparing each and every week, your preparation, your job. What is your job in this system?
And we're approaching the same way that we've approached it all season. I mean, there's no point in changing it. What we've been doing works because we're getting what we want out of our guys right now. But for me, it's breaking down film, getting practice ready every day, and stuff like that, and getting our guys in, watch film, doing all that stuff. But really, it's attacking it the same way as you would any other week.
Who's the motivator on the coaching staff? Who's that guy that goes out and is like, man, this is what we're doing, boys? Coach Moore.
I know. Master motivator.
I knew because the way he talks, he is a master motivator. All right, going back to you, Ryan Prince. I just want to, fill you out on this. Going back to, this week, right. You haven't changed anything about your style, have you? Going into this week, it doesn't matter.
No.
Going against a 5-0 team, whether you're going against a 1-4 or 3-0, 4-0, whatever it is.
It doesn't matter who we play with. You got to stay true to who you are, because once you stop doing that, that's when the mistakes come in, especially defensively. Why would you want to switch up this late in the year? Because you start playing slow, you start thinking more, especially against a team like Mount. You just got to be yourself. These are the fun games too, because you get to prove yourself to the best, not in the conference, to the nation. Hey, we belong here too.
And that's why I can tell you're the bad dude on the team. Because like you said, you're going to prove yourself. It doesn't matter who it is. You can be the best. You know what I mean? I want to face the best. Bad is when you're capable of beating the baddest. And that's what we do. Right. And that's the truth. Now, Coach Moore, what's that? Walk me through real quick. We got a few minutes left. I want to hear a little pregame speech from Coach Brian Moore.
Oh man,
let's hear it on here.
No, I can't whip one up off the top of my head. It takes some work and some thought, but
it is a process.
But usually, every game's different, and usually I don't really think about it much until it's time.
Comes from the heart.
It does. It's got to come from the gut. It's there's a lot of stuff I got stored up. I got 18 years of stories and stuff like that stored up, and you really just feel your team out through the week. Usually about Friday, we kind of try to centralize our theme of what we're going to get to. We play a video or something like that, and then usually the speech just comes from how I feel the mood is with the team and what they need to hear. But it does. I like to keep it that way. If it comes from the gut, it's coming from the heart, and it's coming from passion. I think that's, in a nutshell, the game of football and how you have to approach it.
So, Coach, going on, you guys, you're hosting Mount Union this week. 5-0. Of course, we know they're great. But how's that feel having a senior sitting here right with us tonight and telling us it don't matter? I want to face the baddest. It don't matter who it is.
Yeah, I don't think you're a real competitor if you answer it any other way.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I've coached in some pretty bad conferences, and you come out and you win a game and you win it handily. There isn't that real satisfaction of, boy, we played great, or boy, we were a great team. No, you just beat a bad football team. But going against the best, and make no mistake about it, this Mount Union is the single greatest football dynasty in the history of all levels of football.
Oh yeah.
And to know that we're in a conference, we get to play them every year. You get that one special week a year where you get to put your product out there against the best there is to offer, and see where you stand. Goodness gracious, that's what every competitor wants. That's what it's all about.
Now, last week, I was doing the broadcast in the box on Campus Nation here, and notice you had 65 scheduled recruits, man.
Yeah.
There was a lot of kids out there, and that's what I'm looking at. Future, what you're bringing to the table, and I like that.
Yeah, and with the position I'm in, you got to kind of keep your thumb on the present without question. Okay, but you if you're not recruiting, you don't have a chance. You got to always be recruiting. And part of when I got here, I was real worried about the negativity around the program and how bad the brand of Wilmington College football was. Would we be able to recruit our backyard? Would we be able to recruit within an hour? And what you found out is, we had 40 kids at our first game, 40 at our second game. We had 60-some at our third game. None of them from more than 2 hours away, and the majority of them from within 45 minutes away. That I think our brand is fine. I think the product, the word's getting out that things are changing, and they've got to see 3 pretty good games at home, and there's proof. It's one thing for me to say it, but then for them to show up, see it live, and say, hey, there's some proof there in front of us to buy into what he's saying.
Well, I want to thank you guys for coming on. Ryan Prince, good
Thanks for
luck,
having
man.
us.
You're an animal.
Thank you very much.
Hayden, thank you, Coach.
It's always a
Thanks,
pleasure,
Coach
man.
Moore.
Thanks so much, man.
Thank
We appreciate you.
Live here on WZA 106.9, my dudes from the college. Thanks, fellas.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
All right, hold on. Let me go. Can you ask him for a water, too? I got this beer.
You're co-hosting now, right? I'm out. I'm done. I don't have to do this anymore.
Slowly float on the mic.
Slowly.
I wish.
You guys all on? Go back to, you hit this one once. Be green. There you go. Tell us where we rolling back.
The final resting place, Haunted Junkyard, is located at 9.
You're good.
106.9 WZAA LP, Jeffersonville.
We are back here live at Damon's on WZA 106.9 and CampusNation.com. Our second segment, we have Coach Scott Killen, joined with lineman Connor Barton and Derek Davis. Coach Wilmington got a big win last Friday against the Batavia Bulldogs. How big was this win coming back off all these injuries here?
Well, I mean, it was obviously a win's a good win. You know, anytime you get the W in the win column, that's a bonus. But it was good just to kind of get that nasty taste out of our mouths. You know, dropping to like we did to 2 good football teams. You know, we had to find our rhythm. We're still searching for our rhythm. You know, it was ugly. But it's one of those that, you know, we'll take it, you know. and we can build off of it, and hopefully get a little more momentum heading into this week against Western Brown.
Now, how big is your special teams unit? You being able to kick field goals, do things, and of course Goshen. We watched a field goal kicker make 3 for 3, kept getting penalty. How big is that kicking game for you guys?
Well, I mean, field goal wise, we're good. I was telling someone the other day, when we get to the 25-yard line, I'm pretty confident we're going to come away with points, whether it be 3 points or 7 points. Brady's doing a great job when it comes kicking. I think he's missed 1 or 2 field goals, extra points on the year. With I think he may be perfect. No, he had 1 block. One field goal was blocked. So Brady is very accurate when it comes to putting the ball through the uprights. On the other phases of the kicking game, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of stresses me out a little bit because you just never know. And that's kind of, as a head coach, I got some gray hairs because of the other phases. But we're getting better. And we got 2 kickers that do a phenomenal job. Rory Bell, his punting has gotten better here the last couple of weeks, and then you have Brady. When it comes to, he can kick it anywhere we want it. His leg really, he has issues getting into the end zone, but I think next year he'll be putting it into the end zone. He gets inside the 5 consistently, but he can place the ball. He can squib it. He can pooch it. He can onside kick it, and it's a benefit to have those weapons.
Speaking of special teams, that's basically how you guys got on board for us last week. A muff punt they got returned by your starting quarterback for a touchdown.
Yeah, and the rule of the muff punt is you can't advance a muff punt.
Really?
Yeah, so that's the rule. So it's one of those, you kind of look around, you're like, don't say nothing. Let's just roll with it. We got 7 points. Let's go. And then one of my coaches was actually trying to argue. I'm like, shut up. It's all good. Just let it go. They don't need to know the rules if they don't know the rules. So
yeah, it was a slow start offensively.
Yeah.
You put it away late, but
it was one of those things that we're still searching. We have the weapons, but we just can't get out of our own way. And it really comes down. This is what I truly believe is, we have guys trying to do too much. We got guys that are trying to make the big play. They get the ball. The ball's coming their way. They're trying to score instead of just getting the first down. Let's keep the chains moving. Let's get a little momentum. And that goes from the offensive line, goes to the quarterback, the running back, the receivers. And the effort's there. I've never questioned how hard our kids play. I do question, what goes through their head. And it's like, just do your job. That's kind of what we're focused at. And offensively, especially, defense I thought played very well. Some of those pass interference calls we had, I do question those. And like I said, the same crew that let us score on a muff punt. Okay, I'll just kind of leave that out there for that, and everybody can think about that. But defense played well. I think we're starting to find our rhythm there. Offense, we just need to just be patient, take what they give us, and move the chains, get a little momentum, and then let our athletes take over. Because we still have the athletes, we just
might be a little young.
We're green.
grinding.
Yeah, when you got the linemen stepping up with these 2 anchoring the line, with newbies coming on the line to fill in for the injuries. Then you have, Craig Schiff's doing a phenomenal job. DJ Ames, DJ just needs to relax and be DJ. We're not asking him to do anything else, just be DJ. And Mace just needs to manage the game at the quarterback spot, move the chains, make great decisions, put the ball where he knows he can put it, and let guys catch the ball, run the ball, secure the ball. So that's kind of where we're at.
Now, going to Connor Barton and Derek Davis here, you guys are in charge, and up front, you guys are in charge of that line up front. How has it been differently? And going to you, Derek, how's it been differently, with, starting quarterback, one of your star athletes, Dylan Bogart out. Has it been any different up front, you feel? You feel like there's more pressure put towards you?
Well, our quarterback's tendencies are different than the old ones, and so under pressure, it takes him a little bit more time to pass, and make sure stuff is open. So we got to block for longer and make sure that he has the time that he needs.
But, that's your job, and when it goes down to going to you, Connor, you feel any different, with, the younger guys, and they're still doing work. They're putting in work. They run hard. Do you feel any different? You feel you have to put a bigger workload in, or how do you feel?
I feel like there's no difference. DJ can run hard. I trust him to go behind us, and it's no different.
Now, after school here, you're a senior this year. You've done a great job here, with lacrosse, with football, things you've done. You're a big kid. Do you plan on furthering your education, playing football? I mean, what do you plan to do after school?
It's one of those things where if I get a scholarship to play football, then I would go there, like a good enough scholarship. If not, I was thinking about education somewhere, maybe Wilmington. It's whatever happens. We'll see.
So Wilmington better be putting up some bucks. You coming? Did you hear that, Coach Moore? Put the bucks up. Put the bucks up, Moore. All right. Yeah. We'll find ways. They'll find ways. Derek, going to you, buddy. What are you playing after school? What are you planning to do after school? Things you're looking forward to?
After school, I've always thought about becoming a cop, going into law enforcement, but lately I've been thinking that maybe I could go to UC and study to become a therapist, so major in psychology.
That's awesome, man. See, and you know what? Guys like, being up front, playing on the line, big, strong, you guys would be, you'd be a good law enforcement. I mean, nobody's going to mess with you standing in the way. You know what I mean?
No doubt, big boys. I was sitting there thinking about last week. We were giving Coach a little grief. Said we'd heard a rumor that you were going to line up in the backfield. Kind of came from your dad, but I didn't know if there's no works in practice so far or anything like that.
No work.
Nothing at all.
So, Coach, going back to you, Coach, these guys, up front, big husky guys. I mean, these guys are monsters.
Yes.
And you're running behind them. How much in the leadership role have they felt this year in your?
They're both quiet leaders. They're not the guys that are gonna get all excited and stuff. They're just gonna handle their business and do their job. You get in their way, they're gonna smack you. And I tell you what, when you look at our anchor on the offensive line, it's been these two. Okay, we put them side by side for a reason. And in hoping that they can demonstrate to the other guys, this is how hard you have to get off the ball. This is how hard you have to block. You have to step right. You have to get into your guy. You have to move them. And I think these two have done a phenomenal job this year on being the anchors that the other guys look at. So that's kind of, I couldn't, if I could clone these two and say this is the offensive lineman I want until I'm done coaching, that's exactly what I would do. It'd be these two.
And see, going back, how does that make you feel? Coach Kellen's been in successful programs for numerous years. As a player, as a coach. I mean, how's that feel for you, Derek Davis, to listen to and run through with Coach and be a part of this program? What's that feel like when a coach says that?
It makes me feel pretty good. I mean, over the last 4 years, stayed the same position and been on the O-line all throughout high school, so just being coached up and getting better, and it makes me feel better because over time, starting to and just be better.
What about you, Connor? Hearing this, and Coach says if he could clone two guys, it'd be you rascals. And you know what? And that's awesome. I mean, I would respect that. And the thing is, you guys, I've been watching each and every week. You guys up front are solid. How's that feel for you?
I mean, it feels great. I mean, me and Derek, we work good together. If there's a guy that gets past me or like I need to hand him off, I can trust Derek, and I feel like we work good together, and we're pretty good.
What's your chances of going to Wilmington College, man? With talking with me, what's your chances?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Coach Moore, he's thinking, depending on big Connor Barton here. Yeah. Law enforcement's ready for Derek Davis. They're ready for you, man. Streets will be clean. We'll be ready to roll. Coach, going back to this week with Western Brown Broncos, you guys face them. What do you expect to see out of the Western Brown?
Ball in the air.
Ball in the air.
Yeah, it's kind of just different contrast when you look at Batavia to Western Brown. Even who we're going to face next week, but we'll get that later date. Even Goshen. Goshen was a ground team, So it's one of those things where we've had to make some adjustments. We got to get pressure on the quarterback. We got to make sure we have our guys in the right position. And, we're constantly working with our secondary on making plays on the ball. I mean, they're in the right position. They're just not making plays on the ball. So that's something that we're consistently working on to make sure that we're putting the guys in the right position to make the right plays. They got to trust in themselves because as soon as we start just turn a little bit sooner, getting our hands in the balls, we're going to start getting interceptions, and then that's just going to get our offense rolling even quicker. So defensively, Western Brown, they're kind of they mix it up, and they'll be in a 3-4, they'll be in a 3-3 stack, they'll be in a 4-2-5, be in a 4-3. So yeah, I don't know what we're going to see, and these guys, are going to have to make the calls in the line to make sure they know they follow the rules and are able to, know how to block certain fronts.
So going back to, as a coach, and you're growing as a coach, doing things, and you guys are being very successful. You've brought a lot to Wilmington high school football, winning each and every year, winning ball games every year, 7-3, 8-2, 9-1. Talk about your communication with Wilmington College, how Wilmington High School, Wilmington College, you being a grad from Wilmington College, some of the things you and Coach Moore get together, you talk about things.
Well, I tell you what happened, just being able to talk to Coach Moore as much as we have has been great. He's really the first coach that since I've been in Clinton County to reach out and make a constant effort of staying in touch with Clinton County schools. No other coach has done that, and I think that's going to pay dividends for Coach Moore and what he's bringing to the program and him reaching out and knowing. I mean, I haven't done this because he's in his first season. I'm trying to build my fourth season. So there's a lot on our plates, especially with the way our season's been going. I can't think straight sometimes with trying to figure everything out when it comes to injuries, who's playing, and then preparing, and the other crazy stuff that happens behind the scenes that nobody knows about. But I'm looking forward to December, January, having the opportunity to sit down with Coach Moore and just talking X's and O's and just, trying to dig into his mind a little bit deeper because wherever he's been, he's built the culture. Wherever he's been, he's got the players to buy into his system. That's kind of what I'm still trying to do here, and I just want to kind of pick his brain on how do you do that. So I'm looking forward to having those opportunities, those moments when he has some downtime that we can sit down and do that.
Coach, as far as like your offensive game plan, you guys feel like with the newer, younger guys, you kind of hit stride there that fourth quarter. You think that's going to be your MO for the rest of the season where you're going to let these big boys wear them down and just run the ball down the throat in the second half of the ball game?
Well, here's the thing, we going in when this all happened, Coach Wolf and myself, we sat down and was like, okay, what's our next step? We're not changing what we do. One thing about that, when I came to Wilmington 4 years ago, one thing I knew is we have athletes. What is the best scheme to give our athletes a chance to be successful? And it's simple. We chose the spread. Why? Because it gets our athletes, our quick athletes, our fast athletes, in space with the ball to make plays. So we're not deviating from that. Now, we've had to have guys step up. A Craig Schiff, DJs, being DJ. Receivers, you look at how many receivers we've played from Chris Custis. We threw a freshman in against New Richmond and Carter Huffman. So Connor Mitchell's gotten some reps at tight end. So it's one of those things that we believe in the system. The kids need to believe in the system. It works, and now we got to find the right. And the scheme's there. It's the confidence of the kids, getting them to believe and getting them to believe in themselves. Not just I'm in this route or I could get the ball in this place. I'm going to get the ball. I'm going to make plays with it, and then kind of building from that. Once we hit that, and I keep saying it's like we have to find our groove, got to find our niche, and looking at it, things were open against Batavia. We just didn't execute. Okay, why is that? Did we not hold our blocks? Are we trying to do too much? You know, we turn the ball over, we drop passes, we skip passes to the receivers. You know, what do we have to do? And it just comes down to consistency. And then with the consistency comes confidence. Have the confidence to know that we're going to put you in the right position to make a play, and use your skill level to the best of your ability, and go with it.
Now, you have a lot of sophomores on the field. Quite a few. I mean, you guys got a lot of sophomores. We're growing this team. You have a couple of seniors here, this lineman that's really trying to, put a base foundation out here. I mean, here in a few years, I'm looking at the sophomore play. I mean, you guys got some great sophomores. How have they held up? Stepping into this role and behind these leaders.
Well, the good thing is these guys have been through it. Look, Derek started last year for us. Connor's, he's a 4-year starter. I don't think you've never missed a game, have you? Yeah, he's never missed a game, and that's kind of what you want. So they're seeing firsthand by these two the work ethic. I challenge anybody to try to outcondition Derek Davis. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. You're not going to find a harder worker than Derek. And then with Connor's ability just to be there, to show up with his lunch pail and hard hat every single day, so they're getting the blueprint of what I'm looking for. Now these sophomores, the good thing about being sophomores, and I'm even starting a freshman tomorrow night in the secondary, and if they don't know what they don't know, they don't have a clue yet. So hopefully they just go out and play and not realize the moment and let the moment get bigger than what they are. Hopefully they take one play at a time and just play and just kind of relax and just have fun with it. It's a game. Yeah, we're going to yell and scream and stuff because I'm competitive as all get out.
Oh, yeah.
I hate losing, If it's me and my daughter playing cards, I'm not losing to her. If I lose, I'm going to get ticked off and she's going to get ticked off and, I'm not losing.
I feel you. I'm the same way too, and it's awesome.
I mean, the Keller household is violent when it comes to games.
Violent, he says.
And and hopefully the sophomores can be like, okay, coaches, I did something wrong. Coach is upset. Let's fix it. Let's get better. Let's play fast. And at the end of the night, let's have some fun because it is a game. These guys are understanding this because they have 2 guaranteed Friday nights left. They're done. It goes fast. When you look at it, there's 40 games that you are guaranteed to play in your high school career. 40. And it goes by so fast because it's not like it goes months. It's week to week, and it's 10 weeks, you're done. Then you move up, and there's, and the freshmen, I don't think the freshmen, I think the sophomores, I don't think they really know yet. Because once again, they're young. They don't know what they don't know. And so hopefully they embrace the moment. And, tomorrow night, it's going to be senior night. I told the team before they left, like, you underclassmen, you owe it all to these seniors. You empty your tank for these seniors because when you're a senior, you're going to want the same thing to happen to the underclassmen. You want them to play as hard as they can for you and send these guys out on a positive note. So we got 2 games left on our field.
Now, okay, you got 2 games left. Tomorrow's senior night. I'm going to go to Connor first on this one. Connor, okay, it's senior night. It's your senior year of football. Mom and Dad's in the stadium. All your crowd, your family, your fans, every person that's there watching you. What's something you want them on the field to leave with them tomorrow night after you get off the football field?
I just want them to know that I played my hardest. Maybe give them a few pancakes. Just make them proud.
It's good. Now, going to you, Derek. Your family comes game, they watch, you got your fans up there. What is something that you want to leave and them watching you play and lead by example, things you do? What do you want them to remember you by?
I just want them to remember me as a hard worker and just hard hitter because, that's what I like to do. I like to hit and just strive for success. I'd like to leave with just victory.
So you're going forward to Western Bound. You play the other team the following week over there on the other side of the county.
Yes, sir.
Are you excited about that game?
It's pretty exciting. It's exciting as it gets. It's our rival. It's going to be a lot of hard work and emptying everything we have, just like every game, emptying the tank.
But Chris, we got Western Brown first.
Yes, I did.
One game at a time. One game at a time.
Hey, I just asked. Yeah, one game.
Whatever. You tried to slip that one in.
It's all right. Well, Coach, okay, this week, going forward, moving up, Western Brown and things, do you feel that this is a game, of course, it's never an easy game. Western Brown's 1-7, and I feel Wilmington, is going to win by a high margin, but how do you feel about the approach here?
Well, right now, I don't, and I told the News Journal this, and I'll tell anybody this, and I don't worry about who we're playing. I worry about us.
Yeah.
Are we competing? Are we developing? Are we doing what we're supposed to do every single play? And the last few weeks of practice has been pretty intense. Trying to get everybody to raise the bar and rise up and meet the challenge that we're facing as a unit, as one squad, and. So looking at Western Brown, they have some weapons that can hurt us. They have a receiver that's already been offered by Ohio State and has an offer from UC. So that anytime you have that, it's like, okay, we have to know where he's at all the time. And anytime you play a team that airs it out as much, it's one missed coverage, it's one missed tackle, and they house it, and then you're in a dogfight. Especially with what we're doing offensively right now, trying to find ourselves. I'm not going to say anything's a guarantee. Do I have confidence in my guys are going to come out and they're going to play hard? Absolutely. Do I know we're going to smack somebody? Absolutely. But it's just the constant grind of the game. Are we doing what we're supposed to do to come out on top? That's what it comes down to.
Connor, going to you real quick. Do you feel as if, you've done your job this week, preparing each and every week? You feel you do your job and ask what Coach Killen asked you to do? Do you feel you do?
I feel like I did my job this week. I mean, the most important thing is watching film, knowing who you're going against, knowing what they're like, and just doing your job, doing what you can do for the team.
How important has it been having Coach Killen there? Great coach coming in. 4 years. You've had him 4 years of your career. You guys both have. And I want to ask you guys this, let everyone know, because Coach Killen has about a lot. I mean, he's done a great job with the program, really turned it around, made it great. How important has he been, as a coach to you?
I mean, he's been a good coach.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that.
I feel like if he didn't come, I wouldn't get the chances I had to start varsity as a freshman. And I'm gonna miss him.
Thanks, Connor.
What about you, Derek? See, we can do all
the
this.
peanut gallery there.
Derek, since that's awesome. 4 years you've played, with Coach Killen here and at the helm. What do you have to say about Coach Killen here?
Honestly, I mean, he just pushes us every day, and it's great because, just makes us work harder and harder and prepares us for more than just the game. It prepares us for life, and it's great.
And see, Coach, you go back to it, and here's the thing. You're doing your job. You're doing things right. When you have kids like this, it's seniors that come on, and sometimes people's like, why you ask that question? Well, I want to question what the coach is doing. And if the players are coming back and they're talking and this good about you, they're preparing for life, doing things right, you've done your job.
I agree.
You're doing a great job.
And when it comes down to it, like I said, I am competitive, and and I do put in the job that I have is to win. Okay, but it's not about that. It's about the memories that you make, and it's about these guys. And when I see them 3-4 years down the road, or hopefully I get invited to their wedding. When that point in their life comes, that's what it's all about. Seeing them be successful men, great friends, great teammates. Better sons, perfect husbands, all that stuff. That's what makes it better. And I know that what I did for those 4 years actually was bigger than the wins and losses.
Exactly, and that's what looking forward to your lives and things like that, and Coach talking with you about that. But still, it doesn't mean that you go out these next 2 weeks and you better win, because here on WZA
we have to win.
We have to win. He's always gonna be at your weddings, but you better win this week. You just have to. or he may not come.
No,
Just no present. No presents.
There we go. Well, my wife makes sure we give great presents. So,
But last week I said, let me give me a day at the Killing Home. Let me see your day, just a typical day at the Killing Home. Give it. Let's shoot it straight. I want WZA 106.9 Campus Nation to know a typical day for Scott Killen.
give me the day of the week.
Let's go Friday.
Friday. Oh, that's terrible. Well, I have a special body wash I use on Fridays.
Yes.
It's kind of fruity, but I've been doing it. Probably for 15, 16 years. It's very, very intense. I don't talk much on Fridays because I got to go through school, and I'm usually not in a good mood during school. My kids get the brunt of it, especially my son Tanner, because he wants to, like, after school. I used to try to take him out to eat. I can't do that anymore because Tanner doesn't shut up, and he wants to talk about the game in different situations. I can't handle it. I just need silence. With my oldest son, it's pretty good because he doesn't talk much anyway. So after the school day, up to the game, like, there's not much talking. It's just kind of focused, and I have different scenarios running through my head. And then I don't know. Then the game goes on. After the game, say what's up. Kiss my wife, all that good stuff. Hug my daughter, and then probably yell at Tanner some more, and then you see a common theme. And usually I'm in bed probably 1:30, 2 o'clock, and I'm at the field house by 5:30 in the morning. So to get ready for the next week, that's kind of my Friday, so.
Now, how does your wife feel about all this? Like, does she take it in good? I just want to know. So next wife I get, I need to know.
Well, I tell you what, when she's been a trooper through all this. She buys me the body wash. Make sure I have it. But she gets it. She understands that. That Friday and the sacrifices I put in, she holds down the fort. She makes sure that kids get where they need to go. Kids get to practice and games. Grocery shopping's done. House is clean, even though I get yelled at about that on Sundays. But she's amazing when it comes down to the whole football season, and and I do my best to make sure she's part of it. We get those moments where it's just us. I try not to talk about football, but that's all she wants to do is talk about football. And
that's a good wife.
Oh, it is
wonderful.
It is.
Yes.
And I'll be honest. She's been through all 19 years of me coaching. She's been through the highs and the lows. When I was crying because of a loss and we shouldn't have lost and that type of stuff, and then crying because we reached the ultimate level, and then coming here and and being embracing the process that me and the coaches have put in to kind of build this program and get it where it's at, and the frustrations, especially this season, that we weren't able, that we had none of the players or myself had any control over, and we were able to. She's been there through all that and just supportive, and she's amazing. So,
well, I want to thank Coach Scott Killen, Connor Barton, Derek Davis, and Chad McAllister for being on the show tonight, and Wilmington College's coaches. This is WZA 106.9, CampusNation.com. We're out.
Thank you. Sorry, I got a little windy there, Rick.
106.9 WZAA LP, Jeffersonville.